Thank you, Scott. I'm Jim Zehringer, Director of Agriculture here in the state of Ohio. The Department of Agriculture has a couple major roles in this particular situation. And Governor, thank you for this executive order and giving us more authority and more cooperation among agencies. Our main goal is the health of animals, no matter if it's a cow, a chicken, or a lion. It doesn't matter. The Department of Health oversees the health and safety of the animals, that they don't spread or we can prevent diseases coming to the state of Ohio. So every animal coming into the state has to have a certificate of health, and we make sure that those laws are really strictly enforced. Part of the executive orders, my state veterinarian, Tony Forshee.
Jim, let me interrupt just for 1 second. You know, one of the unbelievable quirks in this law is that you cannot force somebody to get a license until they have possession of the animal. So in other words, if you said we're not going to allow a grizzly bear to come into the state, right now they are not required to be licensed until the grizzly bear is already in the state. That is how convoluted a lot of the statute is in this state, and those are the kind of things that you need to work on and think through over time to get it right.
That's correct. The other thing Dr. Forshee will be doing is working with local humane societies and agents to help identify diseases. And again, this working relationship. When I was a county commissioner, one of the biggest hindrances we had was local funding, and what do we do with the animals when you get them? I mean, there's just no place to go with it. So working with the zoos and other agencies, this is going to be a great asset that's never had before that county officials are going to be able to work with. And again, working together, sharing information, finding out where these animals are. That's never been done before. And so we're looking forward to controlling the diseases here in the state of Ohio, finding out where these are at, and helping to work to make sure the conditions are right for the animals and the owners and all of the people surrounding these facilities. The governor mentioned we're in charge of the auctions in the state of Ohio. There is one auction house in the state of Ohio that does deal with exotic animals, and they sent us a handwritten letter saying just what the governor said. They will not be, they have not really auctioned off any of the large animals for quite some time, but they've agreed not to do it in the future. So the Department of Agriculture is working forward to working with all the agencies and this cabinet that the governor has put together. We have a great working relationship, and this will stay on our front burner. Thank you, Jim.
Susie?
First of all, Jack is so sorry that he's not here today. I'm Suzi Hanna, Jack Hanna's wife, and he said, would you please do me a favor? He just called a little while ago, and he said there's going to be a press conference. And he said, would you please go and tell everyone what my feelings are, how emotional this has been for me, and how thankful and appreciative he has been to all of the officials that helped with this horrible, horrific situation, and also appreciation to John Kasich and his cabinet for taking immediate action on this executive order to make sure that our animals will be protected, and that from now on we know that this will never happen again. Anyway, Jack is in Texas, just so that you know. He had a commitment that was made a year ago, and he was going there to speak to try to raise funds for conservation efforts in that area. And just so that you know, too, we are leaving in 2 weeks for Africa. We're going to be filming over there 12 shows in a month. And again, trying to spread the word of conservation and saving our magnificent animals. Because, for instance, in South Africa, one rhino is poached every single day. That's just absurd. And what Jack wanted me to tell you when he arrived on the situation, he said it is absolutely the worst horrific animal sight he's ever seen in his life. And he said that image will be with him forever. And he said when he looked, it's very emotional, he said the tears This is, a man that doesn't really cry, but he said the tears just came down his face when he saw these magnificent tigers and lions. And he said to think that there's only 1,400 tigers in the wild, and you see these magnificent animals like that. He said it was just absolutely the worst thing that he's experienced in his years of trying to help the animal world. But he said, he again is so grateful to Sheriff Lutz and all of the officials that were there in Muskingum County and in Zanesville. He said, because really, he said they did an amazing job. He said, I know people don't understand. They think, how could so many animals be killed? It's just tragic. And it is tragic. And you wonder, could not something else have been done? But the problem was, it was so close to nighttime. You have 50 animals coming out, very dangerous animals, and it just wasn't a situation where they could be tranquilized. People might not be aware of this, but when you tranquilize an animal, there are a lot of things that you have to know about that animal, the size, so that you get the right amount of tranquilizer. And also, when you tranquilize an animal, it can take 3 to 15 minutes for that animal to go down. And to give you an example, years ago, a dear friend of ours, a veterinarian, was tranquilizing a tiger down in Knoxville, and the tiger leaped on him, jumped on him, mauled him, and they weren't able to shoot the tiger because they were afraid they were going to shoot our friend. And because of those injuries, he ended up dying. And in this situation, one of our veterinarians did try to tranquilize the tiger, and the same scenario was happening. That tiger was going for her, and before it got to her, they did have to put the animal down. And Jack said the miracle in all of this is that no human life was lost by an animal, because he said public safety is first. It is a tragedy, but it would have been far worse if people had been killed. And he said he just thanks the good Lord every single night now that no one was killed. And just to make this a little more personal, Jack wanted me to say that Governor, and this is Kasich, we know how passionate they are about our wilderness and wildlife. They come to Montana almost every summer and go to Glacier National Park. We've been fortunate to be able to go hiking with them. And it's just great to be able to spend that time together and see how excited they get when they see a mountain goat or a grizzly from afar, or maybe even a ground squirrel, because you have to remember
Or maybe even a grizzly up close.
Or maybe even a grizzly up close. But, every animal in this world counts, as you were just saying. And it's wonderful to know that Governor Kasich has been so supportive about this, and Jack said again, thank you so much for the immediate action that all of you have taken. Jack did want me to read a statement to all of you. The past few days have been one of the most difficult times in my entire career. My heart aches for all the beautiful creatures that lost their lives. Thank you to all of the first responders and the various animal organizations that have made quick and extremely challenging decisions. While we mourn the loss of those magnificent animals, we are finding hope in the animals that were rescued and are thankful that law enforcement, zoological staff, and the public remain safe throughout this crisis situation. I applaud the state of Ohio for responding swiftly to Tuesday's tragedy in Zanesville. Governor Kasich has demonstrated his commitment to wildlife before. He helped me add the African elephant to the threatened species list in the mid-1980s, and I'm pleased that we're working together again to make Ohio and this world a better place for animals. Over the past several months, we've been working closely with the state of Ohio to develop a framework for legislation regarding dangerous animals. It's important to me that this legislation targets only exotic animals kept in inhumane, substandard conditions, I believe that private individuals and organizations such as educators, reputable breeders, rescues, sanctuaries, with the proper expertise, permits, resources, and facilities should be allowed to keep exotic animals. Animal welfare and public safety are my primary concerns, and the Columbus Zoo and Aquarium, the Wilds, and I are ready to assist the state of Ohio in any way that we can to protect animals. We're taking steps together to ensure this never happens again. Thank you.